This year, Honor Flight Maine is celebrating 10 years of service. Thanks for joining us on our News Center Maine Plus app. I'm Brian Yukono. Each year, we have a special day in November to raise money for Honor Flight Maine. The nonprofit takes veterans and a guardian to Washington, D.C. to see their war memorials. For a lot of Maine veterans, the trip is a time to reflect on their experiences. Right now, there are more than 450 Maine veterans on a waiting list to take the trip, and it's estimated to cost about $1,000 to send one veteran. Honor Flight Maine relies on donations to make sure every Maine veteran gets this experience if they want it. Well, this year, our Honor Flight Maine telethon is Thursday, November 14th. Leading up to it, we want to take a look back at some of what has been made possible thanks to your donations over the years. So first up right here, a jump back to 10 years ago to one of the first Honor Flight Maine trips. In 2014, a group of students from the island community of Vinyl Haven raised money to help veterans in their town see their war memorials in D.C. Don Kerrigan was there when they left and spoke with the veterans about what the opportunity meant to them.
In a small town, sending veterans to Washington is a big deal. So just 4 days after hosting a big fundraiser for the trip, everyone at the Vinyl Haven school turned out to cheer the group as it left. The trip happened because of the town's new physician's assistant, Earl Morse. He started Honor Flight 9 years ago in Ohio, recruiting volunteer pilots and planes to take World War II veterans to the National World War II Memorial in Washington.
We thought that we were the only people that felt this way about World War II veterans. We've since discovered that the entire nation feels that this is so important to get these people down to their memorial. They've earned it, they deserved it.
So with the help of Penobscot Island Air, 4 veterans and their companions flew from Vinyl Haven to Portland. Navy veteran Bud Skoog, one of just 4 World War II veterans living on Vinyl Haven, and the only one well enough to make the trip.
I love it. I think it's great. I wish more of my comrades could go through it and do it.
So Bud was joined by Korean War veteran Clarence Conway. So what do you think about this whole this whole project?
It's wonderful.
Who was briefly overwhelmed by the whole idea that Honor Flight and his island neighbors would do something like this.
I had 4 brothers, 2 in the Second World War, and 2 in Vietnam era, and myself.
Wow.
And so I'm here for my 87-year-old brother who couldn't make it, and my other older brother, and the other 2.
Wow.
And all the rest of vets.
And they were joined by a couple of young guys, Fred Small and Gordon Walsh, combat veterans of the Vietnam War. They plan to visit the memorials for all 3 conflicts, then make the trip home to another welcome on Sunday. And this may be just the first trip. Earl Morse and the owner of Penobscot Island Air are already planning a bigger trip for this summer. They hope to recruit other pilots from around the state to bring in veterans from all over Maine, maybe as big a group as 60, charter a big plane, and take them all to Washington.
So we owe them a debt of gratitude. In fact, there's nothing that we have that is wonderful about our island, about our state, about our community that we do not owe to them.
These veterans are getting the message of thanks and will be more than happy for other veterans to share it. In Portland, Don Kerrigan, News Center.
News Center Maine has been on many Honor Flight Maine trips throughout the years, capturing so many emotional moments along the way. Bill Green got to experience a trip in 2017. He met veterans who served in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam.
The World War II Memorial sits on the National Mall between the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington Monument. It features 56 pillars and 2 triumphal arches. It is an imposing structure.
Oh, say, can you see?
Ray Amundi and Adrian Carver thought the monument befits an event in which 16 million Americans served and 400,000 died.
They did a beautiful job at it.
So
And everything here is marvelous. I wouldn't believe it.
It's amazing. It's amazing. To me, I can't think of words that I want to say to express how I feel.
about half the veterans on this trip served during the so-called Forgotten War in Korea. Such a man was Wes Cressy, who could be the interpreter here.
It's just patrol. They're going through this rice paddy. They're all stainless steel. and those eyes, they just go right through your body. And I love this place.
For many, the Vietnam Memorial, the wall, is the most moving monument in Washington. Here, visitors can interact by touching or making a rubbing. Ken Albert says it's a place of healing.
They all say the same words, and it's great, full of love in their voice it's thank you for your service.
At the Tomb of the Unknowns, which is patrolled perpetually by the Old Guard, two Maine women, Lee McGall and Mary McGurk, were selected to go forward to help place a wreath.
All day long, it's been smiles, tears, stories from Korean War veterans, Vietnam veterans, World War II veterans that are going back, they're reflecting, they're here for a lot of their buddies, comrades, they're representing them that didn't make it back.
It was a day of reflection and contemplation for those who were fortunate enough to serve their country and come home.
And that was Bill Green reporting back in 2017. Now, Honor Flight Maine makes it a priority to get veterans who are dealing with a serious illness on a flight as soon as possible. In 2016, Dustin Vlitkowski got to meet one of those veterans to find out what this opportunity meant to him.
I never expected this.
George McCann isn't one to draw attention to himself.
I had no idea that people were that interested in my background.
But today is all about him.
He was enjoying it quite a bit, and especially the hugs and kisses he got from the nurses.
You're very welcome.
These nurses care for George at the Maine Veterans Home in Bangor. He's an 81-year-old veteran of the Korean War with 48 parachute jumps under his belt.
When I left Korea, Korea was nothing but a pile of dirt, as you can imagine. And when we went back in 2003, everything was brand new. Nice to see you.
This afternoon, George got a big send-off to Washington, D.C. He's seeing the Korean War Memorial thanks to Honor Flight Maine. George's flight is extra special.
When I went in there and they were briefing me on the medicines that he's taking and how often he's to get his injections and things like that, they were briefing me on a family member.
You see, George has a serious illness. He's part of a program called Their Last Chance. And this flight, all these people are here just for him, so that he gets one last chance to be thanked for what he's done.
Thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you.
Enjoy your trip.
In Bangor, Dustin Vlitkowski, News Center.
Anyone can get involved to make a donation to Honor Flight Maine. In 2015, Kennebunk Elementary School held a fundraiser for the nonprofit. Vivian Lee was there as students met some of the people their donations went toward helping.
Students and their families at Kennebunk Elementary School opened up their hearts in a big way to honor 4 service members who fought for our country during World War II and the Korean War. The school donated $4,000 to the Honor Flight Network. The money will be used to fly the veterans to Washington, D.C. to visit war memorials. This nearly 90-year-old Navy veteran is still pinching himself.
I've never seen any of the memorials, so now I'll see them all. It's going to be great.
The veterans were the guests of honor at a school assembly. Students sang patriotic songs, presented the veterans with handmade cards, and got up close and personal with men who put their lives on the line for our country.
Some of my students just wanted to shake your hand and say thank you.
The school's 450 students raised the money by creating and selling their artwork, earning the gratitude of the veterans and the founder of the nonprofit.
I cannot thank you enough for what you've done. You are changing their lives.
That was fantastic. Yes. They did an awful lot of work. It's much appreciated.
Earl Moore says the organization has transported 118,000 veterans from all 50 states. He says there's still many deserving veterans worthy of this honor, but time is not on their side.
In another 5 to 7 years, it's a moot point. They will be gone. So we need donations to make this happen for veterans all across the country, and especially here in Maine.
And give them the chance to pay their respects and say farewell to their fallen buddies. In Kennebunk, Vivian Lee, News Center.
In order to make these trips to D.C. happen, Honor Flight Maine needs family members and others to escort and travel with the veterans. Those guardians, as they are called, help with everything from getting vets on and off a plane to pushing wheelchairs. And they're key to making sure every veteran is safe and enjoys their trip. As reporter Grady Trimble learned in 2015, serving as a guardian can also result in making new friends.
It was fantastic.
Burl Edwards and Bruce Wichard only met a couple of months ago, but in the 3 days they spent together, they made priceless memories. In May, the pair went to Washington, D.C. together through Honor Flight Maine. Edwards is a World War II veteran. Wichard was his guardian on the trip, helping Edwards along the way as they visited the war memorials with a group of 27 Maine veterans.
Thank all you guys for all you've done for us.
Wichard is sharing the experience with other people in his community to spread the word about honor flights.
And to see the faces on these veterans when they're down in D.C., that's what you'll never forget.
He's remarkable anyway. He's just a nice young individual.
Ralph Sylvester, also a World War II veteran, went on the trip with Bruce Wichard's son Jared. The two met through church and have been friends for several years. On the trip, Jared was by Sylvester's side at the memorials and at the airports as dozens of people showed up to show their appreciation for the veterans.
The way we greeted when we left and the way we greeted at BWI and when we came back from BWI into Portland, the way we greeted is unreal.
Now Jared and his dad are encouraging everyone else in their community to sign up to be a guardian to make sure every Maine veteran gets the honor flight experience.
Everybody that served, they deserve to see what they fought for, what they gave us, and they also deserve to see the recognition that we have for them.
In Waterford, Grady Trimble, News Center.
Honor Flight Maine could not give veterans the trip of a lifetime without the help of volunteers. In 2022, Don Kerrigan learned more about the important role these volunteers play on every trip.
Thank you for your service and welcome.
The basic idea is simple. Get Maine's older military veterans to see their memorials in Washington, D.C. Honor Flight Maine has been doing it since 2014 and says that by the end of this year, more than 500 veterans will have made the trip. There's another of those Honor Flight trips happening later this month and 2 more scheduled for later this year. But Honor Flight Maine also has a problem. It has an urgent need for more volunteers to help make those trips happen and is also looking for more of the oldest veterans to go.
You could do that in those days.
Jerry DeWitt knows all about it. The 28-year Army veteran still remembers his trip.
It's a surprise. It's a good surprise, and it helps you deal with some of the emotions and all that crap that you've put under, suppressed for many years about your military experience and services and stuff.
But the numbers of those oldest veterans, those from the World War II and Korean War eras, are shrinking. Honor Flight wants to recruit more, and Jerry DeWitt says they need families to help.
But we need to tell them, too, that we have the ability to take them. Even though you may have a little physical disability or you need a wheelchair, we can accommodate a lot of those things.
At the same time, Honor Flight leaders say they also need more volunteers to keep everything going. From events at the airport and other places to the detailed behind-the-scenes preparations. Board Chair Lori Seidlinger says the all-volunteer group simply needs more hands.
There are phone calls upon phone calls, not just to the veterans, screening them to make sure that nothing has changed on their application since they applied, to just a checkup phone call or making sure that the family has transportation to get them there.
Seidlinger says TD Bank has begun providing some volunteers to help, as has a Walmart store, but more are needed. Some make trips, others stay in Maine, but all of them, she and DeWitt say, are essential to giving Maine veterans lasting memories. Don Kerrigan, News Center, Maine.
As we mentioned, it takes about $1,000 to send one war veteran on an Honor Flight Maine trip. That trip does include airfare, 2 nights in a hotel, transportation, meals, and more, and doesn't cost a single dollar for the veteran. Honor Flight Maine has 3 trips planned for 2025, one in April, June, and September. They each will include 75 veterans, 75 guardians, and 12 staff and medical members. Of course, these trips would never happen without your donations. So again, News Center Maine's Honor Flight Maine Telethon is Thursday, November 14th. You don't have to wait until then to make a donation. You can learn more about the program or make a donation right now by texting the word HONOR to 828-6622, and we will send a link right to your phone. And a big thank you to everyone who was able to make a contribution to help send a Maine veteran to D.C. You can catch more stories and content for our Honor Flight Maine Day here on News Center Maine Plus during our normal shows hours and on our News Center Maine website and mobile apps. Thanks for watching.